What is this? Four Bastards Almanac, episode 30 something. Episode 30 something. I just got a new mod for American Truck Sim. They kind of makes the interface more minimal because it's kind of dumb. It'd be nice if I found like a cool mod to have the in-dash GPS actually tell me like my ETA and some other like crucial information. And it doesn't want to, like, I don't know. I haven't found a mod to be able to do that yet. So for all that stuff, like your ETA and like your actual time needed to rest and all that stuff that's not normally displayed, now I've got like a tiny little thin bar at the bottom of my screen that shows me some essential stuff that I need to know without, breaking too much immersion, I guess.
That's pretty neat. Do you get those off the Nexus? Have I asked you that before? I probably have.
These are all on the Steam Workshop. You can install stuff manually, I'm pretty sure. But Steam Workshop is just super integrated, so it's just easy to use. I was just looking. So E3 starts this week. Or has started? Has it already started? The pre-show stuff for E3 has definitely started. And
okay. And I did see mention of that in the Streets of Rogue update.
Oh.
I was reading some of their patch notes, and apparently their full release is going to be, I think they're going to announce a date for it during the pre-stuff.
Oh, cool.
So here soon.
That's pretty sweet.
Anyways, yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, you're good. That game's a lot of fun. It's crazy. I noticed. So I guess these companies are paying off Discord to promote their channels and stuff. Like there's an EA server, and there's a Bethesda server. There's like nobody on them. I mean, there's less than 1,000 people on both of them. I noticed the Terraria server's got like 17,000 people on it right now. Where EA and Bethesda are just sitting there twiddling their dicks.
There's no money in this.
Crazy, man. But yeah, actually, Cyberpunk 2077's up there. There's several thousand people in that Discord server. So a lot of people are still excited about Cyberpunk. That's good. I hate that.
Is that CD Projekt Red?
Yeah, that's right. That's going to be our follow-up for, to Witcher. Which, I never beat Witcher 3 because it was such a big game. I actually did beat Witcher 2. But Witcher 3 was a lot. I mean, I got really far into it. But I didn't quite make it to the end before I split. The mechanics in that game are a lot of fun. They're a lot different than most other games that you see.
I need to catch that on the summer sale.
Yeah. And I mean, I started with 2. It's an incredible story. I mean, if you feel like pouring some time into it, I'd recommend to also start with the second game at least, if not the first game. But it really depends on how much time you feel like putting into it, because it's a time-consuming game, that's for sure.
Sorry, man. I'm just sitting here chugging coffee.
Yeah, I've been on a lot of coffee this week.
Congratulations on your culinary achievements.
So, this week, I actually had some time off. I had a couple of days off this week, and of course, what did I do with those days? But I found something to do all day long. And the first day, my girlfriend and I put together some tamales. And they turned out really well. I didn't put enough salt in them, which I don't normally salt the shit out of things. But yeah, you can easily just throw salt on something after the fact, and it's not a big deal. And they turned out really well. I found a bunch of recipes online, and I just kind of took the middle ground of all of them, and that's kind of how I decided what to actually cook. The main video I kind of used was old Cowboy Kent Rollins.
Is that the skillet video that she showed me?
That's right. He's got it, and the tamale video is the first video I saw of his, and so that's why I've kind of watched some of his other videos for cleaning cast iron and all that stuff. He does have a real good channel. There was just a couple other videos that I watched. A lot of people putting together some tamales just to get a good idea of how to do it. What kind of recipe to use. I ended up finding in the masa, you want lard in there, but some people were using half lard and half butter because refined lard really has no flavor to it. Apparently some old-fashioned lard used to have, flavor because it wasn't quite so refined, I guess. So I ended up just mixing in some bacon grease with it. I would put a lot more bacon grease in with it next time for sure. But it still turned out really well, I think. But yeah, some more bacon grease for sure. I made sure to put my red sauce in my masa. That's what Cowboy Kent did. And I thought that was a pretty good idea. And actually, so I've also had a lot of talks with some of the locals in like our local gourmet Mexican restaurant. And they've been real helpful.
Yeah.
And they said a lot of the same things. Make sure you get lard for your masa. Make sure you you want to put some of your sauce in your meat and your masa. Use your meat broth to make your masa. Don't just use water. Use your meat broth. Little things like that. But most of all that was just about covered by Kent Rollins. I just kind of mixed I used most of his methods. I just kind of mixed his recipe in with a couple others. And yeah, it turned out really, really good. I made about 60 tamales. It took me, I think I was done with them about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I'd kind of been working on them all day. And I even cooked my meat overnight. I was just throwing on some podcasts and hacking away at it. I probably could have done it quicker, especially with more help. My girlfriend was kind of in and out. She had to leave early too, so. But then, a couple days ago, I've been hanging on some shitty ass weed for a while. And in Minecraft, I wanted to make some butter in Minecraft. So I looked up again, I just found a bunch of different recipes because it's something I've never done before. And especially with something like that, it's really difficult to find solid recipes because it's such a taboo fucking thing. God. When are we gonna just stop being so fucking puritanical in this fucking country? I don't get it. All these progressives in there. Dude, kids don't use drugs anymore, man. Kids don't break the law anymore. Like, they're like, I don't know what it is. They do, but they're all using opiates and shit. I don't know. I guess maybe I've just found circles of kids who are...
That's funny, but that's not funny, you know what I'm saying?
I ended up making it. It was good. I just put the weed out on a tray. I kind of grinded it up. I put it out in the oven on 245, I think it was. And actually, I put my convection setting on. And I put it in there for, I think it was an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, something like that. And apparently that does something to the weed. That kind of converts the THCA into THC, which is what happens automatically as you combust it, apparently. It dried out the weed, too. I'm not sure if that was a goal or just a side effect. So anyway, with your activated weed, I put about a cup of weed into a cup of butter. And they said to put a cup of water in with that, too. I didn't quite put a cup of water in there because I was watching it really closely. And you want to cook that over low heat for about 2 hours. You want to keep it below 200 degrees where you don't really want a hard simmer. I just let it go. I added a little bit of water here and there. The water helps keep the butter from burning, but I didn't add too much water because I just didn't feel like dealing with that later. So I just put in water just like a quarter cup at a time as it would boil off. I probably ended up using about a cup of water total, but when my butter was done, I strained it just through a mesh strainer. I just strained it one time into a little Pyrex with a rubber top, and I let it cool overnight. And I don't think you have to. I think you just let it cool kind of until it's slightly solid, and then you don't even have to let it cool. You can go ahead and use it right then. But I just stuck it in the fridge. I made brownies with it the next day, and for that, I just found some guy on Reddit has a 420 post from a couple of years ago, and he was one of the can of butter recipes I used as well, and yeah, just followed his brownie recipe, which was on like allrecipes.com or something. It was just a standard brownie recipe. You just substitute the cooking oil with butter. And my butter was actually, it's green. I found that to be really, really funny. Because the butter turned very green. It's got a dark green, like, bottom on it. I think it's where the little tiny bits of weed that came through my strainer just kind of settled to the bottom. And I ended up using half a cup of this butter in my recipe. Not quite half a cup. I used olive oil to fill up the rest of my cup, which was just a little bit. And yeah, the brownies turned out great. I ate half a brownie last night, and it took about 2 hours. But 2 hours into it, I was so fucking high, I could barely think. Like, I started tripping, colors started separating, I could feel my heartbeat. Oh, it was nuts. And these are small brownies, too. I got 16 brownies out of this thing.
What they can't do these days, these new Minecraft mods, bro. That's fucking amazing.
So, yeah, next time you come into town, I got to hook you up with a few of them. I gave our buddy a couple of them. He came by. I gave him 2. Somehow, it got lost in translation that half a brownie knocked me off my ass, and he scarfed down an entire one before leaving. So he's probably hiding up underneath his bed right now.
God.
The Thursday afternoon just before Friday Monday morning podcast this week has enlightened me that there are 3 guys who have applied for a straight pride parade in Boston. His lovely wife Nia was on the podcast today as well, and they were discussing this. And Nia and the rest of liberal fucking America are fucking retards. They're just as dumb as it gets, man. So, Nia's up in arms because these guys want a straight pride parade. She feels like she is incredibly, sensitive and inclusive, and she's all for equality. And that's just not what this straight parade deserves, Why can you not be proud of being straight? I mean, yeah, I get that these guys are kind of poking fun at identity politics. They'll admit that. But at the same time, so...
Exactly. Yeah. I would argue with Nia and say... that this isn't about you, much like there are gay people that really don't want to have much to do with the gay pride. You're clearly a straight person that doesn't want to have anything to do with this straight parade, and that's okay. And what they don't want to hear is that their opinion really doesn't matter.
I find that to be really crazy, that their opinion doesn't matter to these people. It really doesn't. And that's scary. I guess it's scary. I don't think it's actively frightening, but it's real worrisome, that, oh, look how equal we are. Some people are going to be on the right side of things, And, some people are going to be on the wrong side of things, is kind of what she said. What'd she say? She said, some people are going to be on the wrong side of things, and, I'm trying to be on the right side of things, But that's not the right side of things. It's just not. Actual acceptance and, that would be the right side of things. This, like, we accept everybody except for straight white people. That's not, like, that's not what your message is at all. It makes you a liar, It just screams hypocrisy. But they're not, I don't even think they're conscious of it at this point. I really don't. I don't think these people are actively racist against white people. I think that that's just the message that's been shoved down their throats, that this is what, the correct
justice looks like.
Yeah, this is what justice looks like. This is what the correct side of history looks like, is anti-white. White people have been ruling for too long, and it's time for somebody else to take over. Take a seat, white people. You're not doing it right. We live in the absolute, tip-top paradise of all time. People are richer than they've ever been before, ever. All people. Things have never been better, actually, and I think we're more peaceful than we've ever been before, despite, we've still got conflicts going on, but things are extremely peaceful right now compared to most of history. But there's something, this seems to kind of penetrate multiple layers of society as well. It seems to be a very individual problem as well as a societal problem, where it's like, if you don't have real problems, you've got to find a way to make something up. Oh, shit. Just about flipped my truck. Don't know how I didn't, but I didn't.
I know that feeling.
Whew.
I just blew through 3 red lights on this motorcycle. I don't know how I'm still alive.
What are you playing? Are you playing GTA?
Yeah, man. Just dicking about.
I'm cruising through New Mexico on ATS here.
I saw the little script for the trucker missions. I almost.
Oh, sweet. So yeah, it honestly seems like, I've got a sleeper cab now. I'm gonna see if I can pull over on the side of the road and sleep just anywhere I want to.
I mean, I really just don't have much respect for people that bitch about oppression on their smartphone via Twitter. I mean, not that I give much of a shit about people being racist towards white people. I'm as black as the ace of spades myself. But, I mean, it is the hypocrisy deal. It's the hypocrisy deal because you're so fucking loud and obnoxious about your viewpoints. That, yes, it is annoying how hypocritical you are.
Yeah, and a lot of this oppression is not, it's very fake. They're not actually being oppressed by anyone other than their parents or something. I think it seems to be a lot of these problems are related to their relationship with their parents.
You better be careful, sir.
Fuck those people, man. I know
them,
right?
Start preaching those family values and shit. I think a lot of what the fuck is up in society today centers around the dissolution of the family.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And I think just about anyone else with any sort of degree of actual insight into what fucks people up, or not even what fucks people up, like the majority of gay people, if not all of them, definitely the majority of them have some serious issues with their parents. I don't know. I mean, surely there's nothing wrong with being gay. Like, there's not like a... I mean, that's a sort of situation that's like, okay, who really cares? I don't think... I don't know. That's just not such a big deal anymore.
No, it's not. And I'll go ahead and tell you, the longer Democrats keep trying to make some big fucking deal out of, like, okay, yeah, gay pride, go for it. Like, yeah, run your fingers through his chest hair. Do your fucking thing. Who gives a shit? But don't pretend to be woke when you're making Reddit posts saying like, oh yeah, all these companies that are changing their logos to rainbows this month are just like, give me money, gays.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, real woke take. Listen, if you dickbirds think that's the only way you're getting manipulated, you have lost your goddamn minds. Like, you really think that's the only way you're being manipulated for your, by your political... Holy shit, these people are getting, led around by their nose constantly.
It's funny you mentioned that. I got mail today telling me how woke my fucking place I buy shirts is. They were making donations to GLAAD or whatever, which is the Association for the Acceleration of Acceptance. I thought that was a interesting way to phrase that. The acceleration of acceptance for LGBTQ, RALBDZ. At this point, it's really become, I mean, it has been for a long time, it's really ironic. The whole LGBTQ, and a lot of people will tell you it goes further than that. And the guys at this straight pride parade, they want an S to be added to it for straight people. They want LGBTQS or whatever, which I think is fucking hilarious.
It is hilarious because then it would, using everybody's favorite L word, literally be all inclusive. They would not be exclusionary to anyone. They would be what they profess to be all inclusive.
And I think that's really what rubbed me the wrong way, so bad about what Nia said, was that she was literally touting some form of how woke she is and how inclusive she is.
High moral ground by being a complete cock to somebody that you just assume is a dickhead.
Yep. She said something about like she doesn't think they should do this because they're just making fun of it. There's bound to be violence there. Somebody's going to come and start some violence. And I was just thinking like, what would cause violence to start at this sort of rally? If a bunch of queers come up and start protesting it, yeah, I bet they the protesters probably would start some violence, but it would be the protesters who started that shit. The people
Could you imagine if someone was like, yeah, those gays probably shouldn't be marching around Washington. There's going to be some violence. They would be stringing you up a tree for saying some shit like that if it was the other way around.
Oh, yeah. It's so
like,
strange.
This group of people shouldn't assemble publicly. There will be violence. They shouldn't do it. No, sorry, that, freedom of assembly is, that's a right. People can get together and do whatever the fuck they want. As long as it's not hurting other people or destroying property. And I trust these people have the correct permits.
That's what the whole discussion was about, is they're still filing for a permit to even do this parade. And Twitter apparently is up their asses with, oh my God, you can't let them have this parade.
It's going to be so funny when these platforms finally take a shit. Because it's going to happen. And it's going to be soon.
Yeah, Styx said something about, I think it was Styx. A lot of people got banned for posting about the Tiananmen Square riots, or the whole Tiananmen Square issue where China was killing its own people. And apparently Twitter banned a bunch of people for talking about it. But then,
ooh, that's right.
The next day, they reinstated those accounts and they were like, whoops, sorry, we made a mistake. Our bot algorithm thought you were spam accounts.
Oh, yeah, of course. When are people going to get sick of that excuse?
I don't know, dude.
Man, getting Dissenter was the best thing I ever did.
Dissenter's pretty cool, man. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm finally getting a feel for places where, yeah, there's probably going to be some comments worth seeing here. Yeah.
I'm really liking it so far because I honestly, I believe that those are actual unfiltered, real comments. Nobody's...
Yeah, moderating them, for God's sake.
Right. Yeah, because the things I see on Reddit, like, there's a lot of shit I see on Reddit now that I don't trust it.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of 90% of the shit I see on Reddit. Like, yeah, that post is fake as fuck. Like, yeah, of course you were raped, bitch. That everybody on Reddit was fucking raped. Like, I was sick of the rape stories like 2 or 3 years ago, man. It's like, for the love of Christ, everybody. I swear, there is. If it's not, straight up something being posted disguised as an ad, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
An ad disguised as a post. It's somebody telling some fake fucking story. I just do not buy it. Ever since they did that huge subreddit purge in the era of Ellen Comrade Powell, Reddit has been a shit show.
Yeah, I don't know if that really gets talked about enough anymore.
Reddit really is just a totally socially engineered shithole. I mean, all you have to do is look at the politics. Every last one of those, they pay to be at the top of that sub. You cannot tell me that those motherfuckers aren't paying cash money to have their posts at the top of that sub.
That's what's so crazy, is that there's a lot of corporate money behind liberal politics right now. And, well, the thing is, it's not even really liberal politics. Like, your classic liberals are... Apparently, classic liberals are much more like libertarians than they are anyone else. Like, they're very, like, socially accepting, but they're like... I imagine they're anti-war and somewhat anti-government. Not anti-government, but something close to it. Let's see. Let me look up what a classic liberal is. Advocates civil liberties under the rule of law with an emphasis on economic freedom. Classical liberalism. Yep. So yeah, I mean, that's basically libertarianism in a nutshell there.
Yep.
It's been completely hijacked though.
Yeah, it has been. And for real, it's good Lord, just the open bigotry, like you were saying. Yeah, it's just a ton of anti-white shit, and like, oh, see, this Muslim's not blowing up people. See, Muslims are cool. Like, yeah, that one guy might be cool, but London is a fucking nightmare. And that's not being a bigot. That's an observation. I mean, for God's sakes, how many stabbings and are going to occur, and how many concrete bollards are you going to put up before you recognize the freaking problem?
I assume you've heard about the John Cleese stuff that's been
And
going on.
Jeremy Clarkson. Did you hear what Jeremy Clarkson said?
No.
He said, Sadiq Khan, you have fucked London.
Damn, no, I didn't hear that.
Some dude quit back at him. Oh, what's the matter, Jeremy? Don't like to drive your your V8 at 30 miles per hour. He was like, no, apparently I've got to get stabbed first. And so that was not the response I was expecting out of him. So, I mean, the cat's out of the bag over there with those two guys.
Wait, what was the comment about driving his V8 at 30 miles an hour?
Oh, Jeremy Clarkson had just told Sadiq Khan that he had fucked London. And that other guy said, oh, why are you mad because you don't like to drive your V8 at 30 miles per hour or something like that? You know, something that had to do with, the fact that Jeremy Clarkson did that car show or something like that.
Oh.
And so I think the dig was what, you don't like the speed limit in London or something like that.
Yeah, all John Cleese said was that like London is not an English city anymore, basically. And of course, this was all Sargon of Akkad. Good Morning Britain had to have all these woke people on there. Zero white people whatsoever. They had to get some diversity in there. People who,
to prove that London was still an English city. Jesus Christ.
Well, no, like, as to why, they weren't even talking about that. They were talking about how, so what if it's not an English city? Like, it's racist for you to even make that comment. They were talking about how racist John Cleese was because he made an observation that ethnically, like, English are a minority in the capital of England or whatever the fuck, I guess. I don't know. Is that what they call it? The capital?
Yeah, wasn't it basically, didn't it come down to, would you guys even be giving a fuck about him saying this if we were referring to Scottish people? Like if it was other white people moving in and taking over as, the ethnic minority in this region, would you care that he's making that observation? The answer is no, they would not, because it's totally a racial thing with them.
Mm-hmm.
Always has been, always fucking will be. Which it's hilarious seeing Sargon and Dank together, because technically, yeah, those are two people of two different heritages. You know what I'm saying? Yet every last one of those racist fucks just see those as like two white cis men. For God's sake. I don't know, man. At some point, people are going to have to just see that the emperor has no clothes and these people are fucking retarded. They're all just a bunch of unhappy pricks that are just bent on making everybody else as miserable as. Which is why we can't just play Vidya anymore. We got to bitch at each other that there's no black people in that game about the Scandinavian Northeast, like the deep north. They're bitching at this guy. There's, that it's just white people.
Yeah, they were bitching about CD Projekt Red making a game, in Scandinavia about Scandinavian origins. Where's the black people? But
that's sorry, that's where white people were clicking sticks together and going hug at, man,
Yeah. And it's that exact same mindset that it was another podcast, The Adventure Zone. And I've probably brought this up on this podcast before, but The Adventure Zone is 3 brothers and their dad, and they're all as wide and straight as they can be. And it was a D&D podcast, and at the very end of like the first big run of D&D that they did, they all of a sudden introduced some other characters. One of the main characters, his name was Taco, and all of a sudden he has a sister, but the sister, of course, is a trans woman. But the trans woman is, of course, played by one of them. It's not actually a trans person. There's no real sexual diversity, if that makes any sort of difference in anything whatsoever. But they went as far as to make the comment that, like, it must be real boring, and I'm paraphrasing, it must be real boring, like, listening to, like, 4 straight white men talk about blah, blah, blah. So basically, they just kind of created this trans character for no reason. It had nothing to do, like, with her story at all. It didn't change, like, there were no interesting mechanics that came about because, you know, she's pretends like she doesn't have a penis. It was just pure 100% virtue signaling. It's basically like Ocasio-Cortez coming on some random fuck's British Twitch and saying the word trans rights and just waving that flag. It's just virtue signaling, and it's not real. It doesn't.
I think it's a defense mechanism so betas can mate with women.
The white knighting, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but who wants to fuck a beta? Even after all the white knighting, like Milady, you know, all the fedora wearing.
It's a good question, bro. That's a good question.
I'm not super worried about any of this. I don't really think it's going anywhere. I do hate that we are advocating that men be less masculine. Because there's nothing toxic about just real masculinity. And there's still a lot of women, even self-proclaimed feminists and blah, 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 they still appreciate, like, chivalry, even though they'll go out of their way for... It's women who are, like, actual feminists, you know, yes, you know, women gaining the right to vote and all that stuff, yes, those are very important fights, I agree. And for women being in politics, you know, I think that's very important as well. Women have, you know, just as much to say as anybody. So I think that was important. These women who just think that women should be better than men just because it's their turn, I don't really think that's ever going to actually go anywhere. All the, you know, tweets in the world, I don't think are actually going to change that. I mean, unless people are just going to roll over and take it in the ass. I mean, maybe they will, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Dude. I think the calls for that kind of action come from people who simply don't have healthy relationships with other humans.
They don't.
And the fact is that most people do have healthy relationships with other humans. And I just think that the ones that don't, and that are politically motivated enough to run their mouths loud enough for me to, they're disturbed.
I don't get why. Yeah, I do. It's odd to see corporations jump on that bandwagon, but like you said at the top of the episode, corporations are just digging in for their slice of
that money,
pie.
Baby. That's what makes it all go around. That's what they're in for.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we love gay people. Y'all come shop here. We've got the gayest shit you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, we love gay people. Go ahead and vote for me. Like, you realize fucking Hillary Clinton herself, was against gay marriage when it was politically expedient to be that way. So was Obama. And Obama wasn't ready to tip his hand in that direction until Joe Biden ran his fucking mouth, saying that the president's views have evolved on the subject and stuff. And he really didn't even do all that. Didn't he just let some kind of legislation expire? Like he didn't sign it. I don't know the specifics, but he really, he only passively helped them. He really didn't. He splashed some lights up against the freaking White House.
Oh my god! Virtue signaling.
I know. Honestly, Trump is doing more for the LGBTQ community by calling on nations worldwide to decriminalize homosexuality. Like, for God's sakes, I can't really think of a better cause, I mean, honestly, if you're gonna fly that flag, if you're gonna fly that rainbow flag, are you seriously gonna turn your nose up at a good faith effort to decriminalize homosexuality in places, outside of Georgia? Like, I don't know why the fuck everybody's wanting to crap down Georgia's throat, where they're not murdering gays in Georgia, okay? There are plenty of other countries that people are totally cool with where abortion is illegal, i.e. like Northern Ireland, where they filmed a whole lot of Game of Thrones. Yeah, abortion's illegal up there. And nobody had a damn problem with filming up there. But Georgia, those fucking Bible thumping backwards sister fucking hicks out there, beyond the pale.
What do you mean? In the state of Georgia or the country of Georgia?
The state.
Isn't there a country called Georgia?
There is.
Okay. What did Georgia do?
They passed some anti-abortion legislation, kindred to the Alabama legislation, I do believe. Look, rape and incest, dude, that kind of stuff, and Styx kind of disparages that viewpoint. He's like, all or nothing, one way or the other. And I don't know, man, rape is very fucking serious. Consequences of which are very serious. I don't know.
I know I'm not a woman, so I don't have any real opinion here. My opinion doesn't matter because my body, my rights. But when you conceive, the doctor goes back to, like, they don't say, okay, we found out you were pregnant today. Today is the day that heart started beating. Today is the day that shit starts mattering. It's not like that. They go back to, like, the day that you realized you skipped your period. To try and figure out the actual date of conception, because that's what really matters in the lifespan of your child, is literally the time that sperm hit that egg. So I'm kind of sort of pro-choice on the matter. I mean, if you want to have an abortion, sure. But I believe that you are murdering your own child. I mean, that just is what it is. And
dude, yeah. It's your
prerogative to do that. Yeah, it's your kid. the whole my body, my rights thing is really rubs me the wrong way because it's not your body. I mean, it's inside of you, sure, but it's a separate living life form. It just requires you to live, and you're going to kill it. And that's fine. That's on your conscience, really, but it's not really a matter of being, for me, it's not a matter of being pro-life or pro-choice. I mean, if you're going to be a piece of shit and you're not going to take care of your kid, you're probably better off killing it anyway. I'm okay with that. But to pretend like you haven't done anything, to pretend like it's just nothing, just to have that abortion done and just be done with it and just go fuck somebody else, walk back outside and, pick up the next loser on the side of the street and fuck him.
And that it's your right, and that we need to cheer on your right to do,
or that we need to fund it. I think that's crazy, having public funding for abortions. I think that's pretty terrible. I mean, unless we're also going to have public funding assisted suicide. Assisted suicide is more, morally correct than abortion. I mean, they're pretty much the exact same thing. It's just, except you're killing yourself or you're killing your child.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head for me. I mean, as far as, that is a separate life. Yeah, I don't buy the my body, my choice thing. That is a separate life, and you are killing it. What you do with that information, I don't know what we do about that. And I think that's a separate issue from how I morally view that. Like, how I view that as a moral issue is totally separate from, making a suggestion for what we as a society should do about that. I have no fucking clue. But yeah, the state money, Planned Parenthood, the selling of it, just, that shit is wicked. Y'all motherfuckers are gonna get struck by lightning.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's such a...
Bro, tinfoil hat time. I know. Boy, we're on some hot topics. I bet we're making some friends this episode. How about over there in Arkansas? Okay, yeah,
I haven't heard anything about this. In Arkansas?
Saw this on the Chan, and there was an investigator. It was a woman who was looking in. She was a former Arkansas state senator. She was shot to death in her home, I do believe. It's being investigated as a murder.
Like Bill Clinton's home state, Arkansas?
Bill Clinton's home state of Arkansas. And now look here. She was investigating that the Arkansas Child Protective Services were falsifying the results of drug tests of parents to take away their kids. Now, what the fuck do you think they'd be doing in Arkansas with kids that they were stealing away from their parents by forging the results of drug tests? Dude.
Wait, they were falsifying them as in making these parents fail drug tests?
So that Child Protective Services could take their kids, so that the state could take those kids.
What?
Bro.
I thought you meant like somebody was falsifying so that drug addicts could keep their children. It's the complete opposite
No,
of that.
it's the complete opposite, man. And people are making the are making the guess that these kids are obviously being trafficked. And after that, and anyhow, I don't know if that's specifically what this woman was investigating, but she was in Arkansas, and she was looking into something close to the Clintons, because everybody was saying that, oh shit, people are getting Clinton.
I mean, there were severe allegations that Bill Clinton had state troopers covering his ass, lying to Hillary about where he was, letting him know where Hillary was so that he wouldn't be caught fucking all those other women that she would then blame.
Good grief. Who was it? Probably said this before. Dennis Miller. I think it was Dennis Miller who said if that marriage was any more convenient, there'd be a snack machine at the end of the bed.
Wait, what now?
Dennis Miller said of oh shit, dude, oh shit. These boys are giving me the, oh damn, they're about to roll up, dude. It's 2:00. It's 2:00. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry, dude. How about I was watching Drugs Inc. one night, and I was listening to these dudes, and of course I forget where they were at. It was obviously the hood. These dudes were talking. It's 2:00. It's 2:00. Running away, yelling that after a dude pulled a gun on him. Yelling to his buds, saying like, "This dude's pulled a fucking gun," but he's yelling, "It's 2:00. It's 2:00." I've been waiting to use that shit in Daisy for like ever. Anyways, god damn, I forgot where we were before that happened. That totally destroyed my train of thought.
Who is George Nader? Apparently, child porn was found on his phone.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, what was found on his phone, dude? I read the actual court doc where the FBI investigator said exactly what was on that iPhone. There was about 7 videos. Man, I am not going to repeat. This guy apparently did a lot of work in the United Arab Emirates. I mean, he was in that area, kind of in the Gulf, and all of those videos reflected that. Basically, it was pretty egregious. Bestiality, pedophilia. It was pretty bad. Yeah, apparently 3 iPhones were seized. And I mean those core documents, buddy, it had the serial number for all of those iPhones. And it said, we pulled the videos off these iPhones and put them on, a Seagate with serial number, very specific stuff. Yeah, like these exact motherfucking phones, and I put these videos on this motherfucking hard drive. And this is what I motherfucking saw. And I'm telling you, dude, that guy was very detailed with what with the contents of those videos. I couldn't imagine that being my job. I just could not imagine that. But this dude needs to be raked over the coals. Yo, there are planes falling out of the sky and shit, man. This is wild.
There sure are a lot of insiders on 4chan. I'm trying to look into this. Linda Collins Smith is her name.
That former state senator?
Yep. She was working with DHS Insider to expose the missing $27 million from DHS Child Protective Services. These funds are being placed into trade, and the dividends are being filtered back to the Clinton Foundation or owned shell companies belonging to the Clinton Foundation. The missing $27 million was discovered when it was revealed that the DHS in Arkansas had two separate sets of books. Apparently, in March, she was on the QAnon YouTube channel. It wasn't suicide, it's definitely homicide. She was found wrapped in a blanket.
Oh, yeah. Some have said it was a carpet. It's all coming back to me.
Apparently Nancy Schaefer was an American politician who served in the Georgia State Senate, was murdered, and she had just published and promoted a report called The Corrupt Business of Child Protective Services. She died in 2010. She was murdered in 2010 because of that.
I tell you what, man. I fucking tell you what. Oh, shit, dude. There's Benny's Auto Shop. Benny's Original Motor Works is a script, and anyhow, it's a pretty tight car shop, man. And I found a vehicle that's a lowrider.
So what? It just it makes a place where you can go and buy cars or something?
Where you can trick the car out with different mods than you normally could. I do.
Yeah, it gives it the old San Andreas treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss the old hydraulic mods and shit like that in San Andreas. That was cool as shit.
Yeah, it looks like I found something kind of like that. Normally you can just straight up upgrade the engine to 4 different tiers, but I just cracked open the hood, and I can upgrade the engine block, and the air filter. So there's wow, and the interior custom shifter levers, dials, ornaments, steering wheels.
Oh shit.
Yeah, this is okay. Yeah. See, scripts are definitely worth having in Grand Theft Auto, in my opinion. Every time I've tried to do OIV files, I have boned my game up to where it's bricked. I've done that seriously 2 or 3 times now. So I'm swearing off OIV files. I don't know how to work OpenIV, and I don't know. Maybe some other time I'll take another crack at it, but I'm sticking to scripts for right now. I mean, it just adds playability. It adds places to go. It adds more missions, crap like that. I enjoy Grand Theft Auto for its sandbox nature, as we discussed not too long ago. So the enhanced native trainer is pretty tight, in my opinion, as well.
It's connected to a federal grant that requires a specific number of children to be removed from their families to meet the required quota, so they're able to renew the grant again each year. I don't know how true that is. It's just an internet post, but yeah, I'm sure this is something that'll just get swept under some rug somewhere. So that's my tamale recipe. There's my weed brownies recipe. I support you killing your dead babies.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
As always, in Minecraft. This is a Minecraft enthusiast channel.
Hadn't played Minecraft in a long time. I'd like to again. It's got a native Linux build.
Does it?
I've really been. You've got me itching to play Skyrim again.
What's that?
I said you've got me itching to play Skyrim again.
Oh, it's been fun, man. It's been fun. I keep crashing during combat. I need to figure out what. But I've otherwise been having a blast this playthrough.
Putting in mods is going to be such a pain in the ass.
You know, I thought it would be. But I trusted most of the ones that I had on hand, and my game didn't break or anything. I've added maybe just a few on top. So if you already have those files,
yeah, but you used Nexus for yours, though, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I did.
I'm gonna have to find some way to get Nexus running on Linux or Mod Organizer. I really like Mod Organizer.
But you can otherwise play Skyrim?
I think so. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure I just install it and run it on Proton and it works. I know Bethesda's game engines are notoriously pieces of shit, but